everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. It's turn 63, and the fruits of our labor, our comeuppance, has arrived. Damn it! Okay. Let's see what happens in this turn. Evocation 7 completed as we run up to 8 and potentially beyond. Did a little bit of site searching, but it's kind of starting to trickle out. Blood Hunt, or Bowl of Blood, Dark Knowledge, Blood, Augury, Rainbow. We awakened an Ivy King. Did a Cloud Trapeze that should have happened a while ago. We did a Voice of Apsu, Curse of Blood, or another Curse of Blood, Blood, Power Respects. We actually find a Grove of Evergreens, which is alright. Did some manual site searching, looking primarily for Astral 1 sites, or H1 sites, right? Little bit of blood hunting, not super great in certain locations, but overall, you know, a kind of average for us. And then we get stuff, right? So we are on top of Greenwoods, and we get assassinated by Itza. I forgot this guy even existed. This guy's actually really cool. This is Axolotl, the one that hunts unseen. This is a special Itzan character. I don't know why I forgot that he exists, because I played him quite a bit in Total War Warhammer. This guy is kind of neat. He is a chameleon skink, right? A unique chameleon skink. So he has very, very high stealth, which is kind of fucking cool. I don't know that I've ever seen a unit with this much stealth base. So very difficult to actually find. He does scale walls. He has Assassin 9. So huge patience, huge chance of ignoring your guards not being there, or catching them asleep, or something like that. Other than that, he has a little bite, and he has the golden blowpipe, which shoots 2 at a time, has a hefty amount of ammunition, and has a death poison on it, right? So, this is a very good assassination weapon because it shoots multiple times and has this death poison. So as long as it chinks you, whoever it hits, it's probably going to kill, unless he's up against something super duper fierce that has really high poison resistance. And even then, he can kill those things. He is unkitted, right? So he's got nothing going on, and he is up against a acolyte. So just a random schmuck. Interrupts our spellcasts, hits us, gives us a battle wound, and the poison insta-kills us with the little remaining HP that we have. So, the one that hunts unseen, successful. We get to see a battle as Independents attack Athel Loren. So this is a contingent of monks along with a plague cult leader. So Death 1 has some death gems up against some elves in the forest. I said, no, these aren't elves in the forest. These are woodsmen. They're still gonna win, because these are, well, I mean, if this guy was actually, oh, he's berserk. I didn't notice that at first. If this guy was actually casting and used those death gems, they might have taken this province. But he's wearing a fucking berserker pelt, so he gets just destroyed, which is unfortunate. Okay, enough hemming and hawing. This is going to be the majority of the rest of the episode. So, Itza does exactly what we were hoping they wouldn't do. It's like, okay, this is your last fort. Don't ride out. Why are you gonna ride out? Well, they're gonna ride out because they know we do not have what we need to face off against them. And we should. This is a legitimate mistake. This is me just not planning ahead appropriately, getting kind of too hyped up by the state of the game with what's going on with Karaz-a-Karak and Khorne, right? Like the Karaz-a-Karak having 4 thrones and Khorne now devouring Bretonnia. It's got my mind in a tizzy, and I'm, thinking in panic mode of, oh god, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or how do I handle this if this situation arises? And when you're like that, you make moves without the proper planning and forethought because you feel like you're forced into moves. We had the appropriate answer, the appropriate response to this, and we have failed to utilize it. So let's see if it screws us or if we manage to luck this out. So we'll take a look at the Itzan arrayed forces. We've got a line out in front of primarily Temple Guard, but you can see they have some of their other specialized Saurus spawnings mixed in here or there. These are the Huanxi. So pretty cool. I think inherently... What's the big thing for them? They have that venomous bite, right? So they have a weak poison on that venomous bite. And then they've got something else going on. It's the dark power, I would assume. Yeah, it's the dark power. So they've got a bunch of survivals. They've got dark power. They are stealthy. Not really going to matter here. At least the stealthy won't matter here. A bunch of random just schmuck. Evocation bait, archery bait. They got some of their own archers. They've got some chameleon skinks mixed in. A thick double line of Temple Guard. Another big block of various Temple Guard and Saurus spawnings. The Zunki mixed in here, and these are the amphibian versions, right? So probably, again, nothing super special about them that's going to matter in this battle. And then we have a massive horde of shamans. Just an immense amount. And truly the big power here. We have a 4th generation Slann. Has some air gems. Has some other shit going on. We got 2 5th generations here. We got some Ripperdactyls and some Pterodon Riders mixed in. We have a big old block of the Zunki over here on the side. Back throughout all here, we have spaced everywhere are all these skink priests, right? And then in the backfield, we have a couple of little pieces of rear guard, a couple of Saurus cavalry, a couple of various Saurus spawnings, etc., etc. And over on our side, we know our force. We've got a bunch of mercs mixed in. We have a bunch of big lines of, Chaos Knights, Chosen Warriors, Chosen Knights, not Chaos Knights, a bunch of Chaos Spawn mixed in, a bunch of blue horrors, pink horrors, some screamers in here, some flamers, not very many flamers, a bunch of Marauder Horse Archers. We've got a bunch of Daemon Princes, Sorcerers, Sorcerer Lords, and of course a billion Acolytes. We're gonna watch from above. And earthquake. I just sit back and let that pain sink in. And this is not one earthquake. This is many earthquakes. This is 2 earthquakes. I say many earthquakes. It's 2 earthquakes. And we can see the extreme damage, all the red numbers just floating up. But you'll notice, right, like, basically no red numbers coming out of the bigger ticket units, right? Like, the Chosen are all but unaffected. A lot of the Marauder Horse Archers are also relatively unaffected, because I think you can, like, dodge? Can you defense skill Earthquake? We'll check afterwards. Either way, they don't take a lot of damage, right? What really matters is a lot of damage is done, but the big issue is a lot of acolytes are killed. You see all these? These are a lot of dead acolytes, a lot of dead, like, blood slaves, but a lot of dead acolytes. And a lot of interrupted castings. And there we go. So basically all our acolytes are dead. Our communion is interrupted. A goodly portion of our forces are unharmed, right? Like, our chosen knights, right? Like, do we see any damage pips on any of them? Basically, no, right? Do we see damage pips on the Chaos Spawn? Not really, right? A little bit here or there, right? Like, clearly they've taken some small amounts of damage because many of them are berserked, right? So they've been triggered. Same thing on our Marauder Horse Archers. Most of them, oh, well, the horses are taking damage, but a lot of the Horse Archers are surviving. So, you know, for the most part, our units aren't really fucked over by the earthquakes, but our communion is fucked. So we'll see, what do we actually get off in the communion? He has Rigor Mortis up. He has Light of the Northern Star up. He has Storm up. We've let a couple things go. Let's check someone. We do not have a protection buff up. We do not have Army of Mist up. We do not have Regeneration up. We basically have none of the big things that we want up. And that is horrendous. Because that means, if we check him, I do think he has a protection buff up. Because I don't think these guys are... Yeah, he absolutely has a protection buff up. Right? He's got Twist Fate up. He's got a lot of Weapons of Sharpness on these guys. Does not look like he has Regeneration on them yet. Or, like, Fog Warriors. But those might be coming. And it's just, that's it in a nutshell, right? Like, our communion being, there's the Fog Warriors, right? Now Regeneration is up. Now Fog Warriors is up. Now Air Shield is up. So we'll just play this out. And this is just a mistake. This is a mistake born from feeling rushed. Even if we had brought the appropriate counter, which we had, this still would have been a tough battle, right? It still would have been difficult to deal with the attack density and power of his Bless, right? But it would have been potentially doable, I think. We'll take a look at the lists. It's so foggy, it's hard to see. Howl up, Heat from Hell up, Quagmire up, Fist of Deception's up. We don't get our own relief up, right? So people are going to fatigue out from various things. We don't get our protection buffs up. I say that, it actually does look like some of our protection buffs probably did get up. And it's all basically off of the back of our acolytes dying, right? As you saw, we didn't take a lot of damage from the earthquakes on basically any of our troops. That was that one of our Daemon Princes? Probably. So like there's definitely the potential that we could have won this if we had brought in Village, right? Which we were trying to do, or we were gonna try to do this turn. which is a turn too late, right? Like, we had every capability of pulling him in for this battle. If we had just cloud trapezed him a turn sooner, then he could have cloud trapezed into this fight this turn. And even without like cloud trapezing him sooner, we could have, or not, if we had cloud trapezed him even earlier, when we had originally considered the concept that we were going to potentially need to fight Itza, right? Like, I was really banking on that. Oh, Itza will try to fight Karaz-a-Karak in his capital, right? Because he won't want to lose his capital, so he'll leave the majority of his forces there. But that's stupid. If he knows he already got outsped by Karaz-a-Karak once, and he doesn't have the answers, why would he keep his stuff there to fight Karaz-a-Karak in his capital, right? And so that's not what he does. So this is a interesting loss. Had we 3 turns ago, had we started moving Village this direction, cloud trapezed him over, we could have met in Naggarond and just marched him up with the rest of the forces, and we'd have been fine. I think we'd have been fine. Again, this is, I haven't tested this, but this is under the concept that I believe Village with his innate casting would outspeed the Slaane's mages and the Rune Lords with anvils, right? Like, so we would be featherweighted, everyone would have levitation, and we'd be fine, right? Like, that's the idea. And then that means we get off all our buffs, he gets off all his buffs, and then it's just a straight man battle. And at that point, the hope is that we will be able to succeed. Obviously, we didn't do that, so we fucked up. This is going to be a major loss for us. But also, going to be not great for Itza. Because while they do not lose very many troops, right? It's a pretty one-sided slaughter. They burn out their 46 skink priests. This is how dangerous Slaane's mages are, right? Like, there's only 2 5th generations here and a single 4th generation. Obviously, they probably had other mages in the communion, right? There's some alchemists here, there's some crystal mages. Maybe the Cynocephalian shamans had astral, so they might have been able to participate in the communion. But even then, right, like, these skink priests just get murdered in the communion. They get their cores burned the fuck out. And this is a very... We lose massively, right? Like, we lose 842 units. Lose the majority of everything. Take heavy losses across the board. And I'm not trying to downplay this. I'm not trying to downplay this in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is a huge loss, and we'll even go take a look at the army graphs and stuff like that, and it'll show that it's a big dip. But it's also a pretty replaceable dip for us. We lose 1 Sorcerer Lord. Okay, we've got like 12 more or something like that. We lose 3 Sorcerers. Alright. We lose 15 Acolytes. Oh, okay. We've got 50-something more of these, right? We do lose a Daemon Prince. That's annoying. Again, not trying to downplay this. Probably one of the biggest things is losing 82 Chosen Knights. Those we don't have. We do have a lot of them still, but that's a lot to lose. So obviously this is a massive loss. And from an isolated standpoint, if this was up against... If all we had to do was to beat Itza to win, right? I would look at what Itza has access to and what we have access to, and I'd go, oh, that sucks. That's fine. We can put together a replacement army immediately and and bring the answer we need to win. And he just lost 46 skink priests. We'll come back and we'll kick his ass, right? Like, kind of concept. But that's absolutely not what the situation is. Itza was the least of our worries. It's Karaz-a-Karak and Khorne, right? We were hoping to get lucky with Itza, and we made some fucking mistakes, and now we're gonna pay for it, because while this doesn't, this hurts, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't hurt us that much. We can replace these losses fairly quickly. Aside from the Chosen Knights, again, that sucks, right? Chosen Knights and I guess Chosen Warriors, right? That does suck. But the issue is losing this basin of power in that area, right? Because now, what's to keep Karaz-a-Karak from marching forward? They already beat Itza once. If Itza, I'm going to say, ran away from them from their capital because they didn't feel like they had the answers to fight Karaz-a-Karak again, they probably still don't have the answers. And now, not only do they not have the answers, but we have taken 46 skink priests away from them, so they're probably even weaker with the ability to resist than they were previously. So not only have we lost massively, but we've kind of screwed Itza over by causing them to burn out 46 skink priests. So now they're gonna have an even more difficult time of resisting Karaz-a-Karak or Khorne or whoever the fuck else might come up here. So this is just the astonishing, terrible, no good, very bad day. And it's all because we made rush decisions and panicked and got distracted by too many things and felt like we had our hand forced without really actually having our hand forced, especially when we had the answer in the first place, right? So don't do as I do as I say, right? Don't do this. This was terrible. And I will reiterate, right? Like, this isn't me saying like, oh, well, if we had just done this, we absolutely would have won. This still would have been a very hard battle. If we brought in Village, and we'd outsped, we'd had the featherweight, this still would have been extremely difficult, because this is a metric shit ton of mages, right? This is 55 shamans, who were not probably, well, no, I say probably, they definitely were not communioned, because they didn't get burned out, right? So we know who the communion is, because they're the ones that got burned out, right? Everyone else is effectively a buff, is effectively a combat mage, right? Now, how good of a combat mage is questionable. These 5th generation Slann, definitely very good combat mages, right? Oh, God. Oh, God. But, had we brought in Village, it at least would have been a competition, right? We had some very good troops, we had some very good buffs. Though, I will say, 82 Chosen Warriors, they did get 64 kills, even without having all their buffs, still kind of trying to stick around as long as they could. Chosen Warriors only got 15 kills. Temple Guard got 389 kills. This is an important thing to note, and I think this is an issue of, I don't know. This is too broad a topic to really discuss here. I should really like make a video as a whole. It's an issue of power scaling and the concept of how Dominions works at its core. Chosen Knights, very, very good. Chosen Warriors, pretty okay. Temple Guard, if you look at them from a base stat standpoint, versus something like Chosen Knights, right? Or Chosen Knights, not Chaos War. Obviously a winner there, right? The issue being, you know, how many Temple Guard versus how many Chosen Knights, right? Like, if it's an equal gold amount, then you're getting so many more bodies out of the Temple Guard, etc., etc. But the real issue here is that we have chosen to play a Scales Nation with or as a Scales Nation, right? Not to insinuate that Tzeentch is only Scales, right? We have chosen to play as a Scales Nation without really much of an effective combat bless, whereas these Temple Guard have a very effective combat bless. Going back in real quick, taking a look. So these guys have Shock 5, Fire 5, Magic 1, Enchanted Blood, Blood Surge, Righteous Wrath. So this is really kind of like the effectiveness here, right? If they kill, they get stronger. If one of them dies, all of the ones near them are going to get stronger, right? When you can field so many sacreds, when you can spawn additional sacreds, things like Righteous Wrath, absolutely fantastic. So one of the issues here, and again, some of this is coming from, I think the magic resistance is coming from this throne. So the point that I'm trying to get at here is that even if we had Village and we had all our magic and everything like that, we might have still lost, because at this point the Temple Guard are so strong with all. If our Chosen Knights have all of X buff, and the Temple Guard have all of the same buffs, then the Temple Guard are gonna edge out. If you're going for gold equivalency, they're gonna edge out because they have a more powerful combat bless. So there's this whole question and conversation over power scaling in my head of looking at how powerful certain things are in Dominion 6 once you get to a specific point. How difficult is it to get to that point? How much faster do scaling nations get to that point than less nations? Yada, yada, yada. Like I said, this is a whole big topic, and I think way, way too deep to get into here. But I think it's really interesting. Either way, we got our asses kicked. This is really bad for us. This is also really bad for Itza. Let's go look at other shit. A unique hero has joined our turn 6. God, where the fuck have you all been? We just got our nature boy like last turn, and then we get another one. So we get Changeling, Trickster of Tzeentch. We'll take a look at him here in a second. 7th gate unlocked, 9 blue, 2 pink, 2 screamers, 2 flamers. The turn of 2s. 13 more secrets required. Unexpected event in Nagaron. Province income +5. In Palia, Astral Pearls +5. Major event in 3 turns. Stars are right for construction. Haven't we been having this event for the last 3 turns? Is this just going to continue forever? Is it just going to always be right for construction? We lose a scout in Andoria. More Chaos Warriors promoted, more patrolling. Alright! That sucked. That really sucked. Sucked for me, sucked for Tzeentch. And here's little old Village right here, right? You know, the part of the reason why we stayed on, like, I knew that I had made a mistake. I knew that I had fucked up when I hadn't been moving Village over towards this battle earlier. And when I realized I had fucked up, I still went on to Greenwoods, because the hope was that Itza wasn't going to fight us. But that was a stupid hope, right? Because as soon as we move on to Greenwoods, he can look around and be like, he can't outspeed us, right? I was kind of hoping that he was gonna be like, does he have a trick and not want to come out, right? Because if he'd given us one turn, we would have had a trick. We would have had a trick, and it would have been okay. But then I think, honestly, it might have gotten even worse, because then we would have had to fight him in the gates, and I think that the Saurus in the gates would have held for eternity. So I don't think this was going to work out for us ever. And that is what it is. We're pulling everyone back to Naggarond. Again, these losses really suck. If we earned those losses in a major battle against Karaz-a-Karak, I would expect that we would just get rolled over, right? The thing is we can replace those losses, and those losses were against Itza. Itza's, I mean, they might raid out, but they're not gonna march on us and take all of our territory, right? So, like, the loss really sucks, but it's probably the most acceptable loss, or the loss is against the most acceptable person that we could have it against at the moment, right? While that loss really sucks for us and it really carves our power, I said we would look at the army graph. Like, look at that dip. That sucks. Really carves our power. It also isn't a threat to us from Itza, right? So we're pulling back to Naggarond. We're maneuvering, doing a couple things to kind of like replenish losses in the Naggarond area. We've got a couple of things going on, but mostly we're just going, okay, well, we fucked up. Let's make sure we're prepared to not have that fuck up again. And then we're keeping eyes on the rest of the world, right? So the Khorne versus Bretonnia thing continues to look like it's bad. Khorne has not suddenly taken any additional thrones. We can see Bretonnia still has their 2 thrones. But the assumption is that they are working towards those. They're now starting to put different Bretonnian forts under siege. So we'll see how that all turns out. Other big things, more blood hunting going on. Let's take a look at where's what's his fuck. Where's what's his fuck? This is Nameless, the Changeling. This guy's pretty cool, right? Air 2, Glamour 2, so he can cloud trapeze around. He's got a couple of different things that he can do in assassination battles. He is an assassin. He is also an H2 Inquisitor, which is kind of cool, and has 105 stealth, right? So this is kind of neat. Combat Caster can be a blessing and a curse. Invulnerability 14, so not great, but something, right? Like, and he has the whole Tzeentchian thing where he's just got a lot of fucking arms, so you can actually do some really neat shit with him from an assassination combat perspective. So kind of null, kind of nice, right? He also increases the unrest in an enemy province, not your provinces, but an enemy province, by 10 per turn, which is cool, but also can really signify to people that there's something there that needs to be controlled out. He's not immortal, which is a little unfortunate, right? So you do have to be kind of careful with it. But he's a pretty cool, pretty strong assassin. And he's going to sneak around. We'll see what happens. Other things, big things that are happening this turn. We're finally forging our Staff of Elemental Mastery. That is pretty late, but we got there. It was a hard road. We did it. We're forging a Tree Lord Staff with our Ivy King, right? A little rough on our nature gems, but is what it is. We're getting there. We are losing ground on the Dom push against Karaz-a-Karak. So we're dropping a temple in Ba'an Dagor. We're also dropping a temple in Green Waters. And then other than that, mostly just doing the normal shtick, continuing to recruit and try to prep defense in both Cormark and Namor. And licking our wounds. Licking our wounds, right? So over the course of the next turn or two, I still don't have eyes on the Karaz-a-Karak army, which is a little concerning, right? I had expected that they would already they took Karaz-a-Karak last turn or the turn before that. I had already expected they would be marching towards Greenwoods, but we haven't seen them moving, so that is somewhat concerning, right? So we're trying to lick our wounds, but also trying to keep eyes out for whatever the fuck else is going on. It's been, I don't want to say tense, right? Like tense, I think maybe it doesn't have an inherent negative connotation, but at times it can, right? Like, so maybe not tense, but there's definitely this air in the game currently where it's like, what's gonna and right, like, it's absolutely clear Karaz-a-Karak and Khorne, the two major contenders that are really gonna be an issue. And I think at this point it's their games to win or lose. If we had not fucked up here in Greenwoods, I still think we would be a far third. If we had pulled in the right answers and we had clinched a win, I think it would still put us at a far third. And I don't know that there's really much that we could do about it at this point, right? Like, I think we'd probably just be playing Kingmaker. If we attacked Karaz-a-Karak, that would give Khorne an easy opportunity to win. If we tried to attack Khorne, which would be pretty difficult, that would probably just give Karaz-a-Karak a easy opportunity to win. It's just a very sticky wicket, right? So, in that kind of concept, we are going to finish Evocation 8, and we're just going to run up to Celestial Rainbow. It's not going to change the game. It's probably not going to win anything for us, but in the wild presumption, or in the wild chance that the game doesn't end soon, because I expect Khorne and Karaz-a-Karak are kind of like looking at each other and like going, okay, well, we're both too close. Now what? Right? Even if the game does not end in the very near future, then we'll throw up Celestial Rainbow and we'll just play around with it and we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much it. Hell of a fucking battle to lose without the need to lose it. Hell of a battle to lose without without the need to lose it, as if we would have won guaranteed with Village there, and that is not a guarantee, right? Even if we had Village there, we did outnumber him, but a lot of these numbers were from trash units, right? We had pulled in a lot of mercenaries, right? These Amazons not gonna do anything in the fight, right? That's down 50 units, right? These foul spawn not gonna do anything in the fight. That's down 75 units. The heavy cavalry with the right buffs could have potentially done some stuff, so we won't discount them. The militias, that's 75 units, absolutely not gonna do. Right, so between the militias and the foul spawn, that's 150 units. The Amazons basically bringing that up to 200 units. So this is 947 is closer to 747, which is not vastly outnumbering the forces of Itza. And the amount of magic that they had vastly outnumbered the amount of magic that we had, right? So I think even if we had brought Village, there's every possibility that we would have lost, and it just would have been an even more cataclysmic amount of losses for Itza, which would make it even harder for them to defend. And we might have lost Village at that point, which means we might not have him as a potential answer for other things in the future. So, in a horrendously roundabout way, I'm gonna claim this as at the end of the day being better for the game state for us than if we had brought Village, because I think we might have likely still lost. Oh goddamn! Oh, this is late game. I can't not call this late game. It feels weird in my head to call turn 60. What is the 63 late game? It's definitely late game. The strangeness is there's this weird power scaling where I'm like, I've had other games where the people in those games couldn't do half the shit that's being done by turn 60. And then we have this game where people are just like, of course it's a modded game, right? Like that I think is a very key point to keep in mind here. I don't think I've ever had a vanilla experience that's been, you see this massively explosive shit, which is amazing. This is part of the reason why I love this mod is there's some absolutely crazy shit in this mod. And it's super delightful and very, very fun. And it all looks wonderful. That's it for the turn. Otherwise, I will just keep yapping. We'll see you next time and see if there's anything that we can do to make a difference in this. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.